Hi everyone. Welcome back to English Fab, where learning English is practical, useful, and fab. Life isn't always easy, and sometimes we face challenges that are difficult to talk about. You might struggle to explain relationship issues, workplace conflicts, financial troubles, or travel problems. Maybe you're not sure how to describe an accident, make a polite complaint, or discuss global issues like climate change and health crises. Being able to talk about these situations in English is important for everyday communication. In today's lesson, we'll go through real-life conversations about different kinds of troubles and challenges. You'll learn key phrases, useful vocabulary, and practical tips to help you express concerns, ask for help, and handle difficult situations in English. This video includes content related to handling problems and challenges in English that we've uploaded so far. Be sure to check each video on our website for further details. If you find English difficult, don't worry. You can translate the subtitles into English in your own language like this. Check the description below for extra details. Are you ready to improve your English? Let's get started.
Lisa, you seem a little distracted. Is everything okay?
Not really. Tom and I have been arguing a lot lately, and I don't know what to do.
I'm sorry to hear that. What's been going on?
It's a mix of things. We've been having a lot of miscommunication lately. He says I don't listen, and I feel like he just assumes things without asking me.
That sounds frustrating. Have you both tried sitting down and really talking it out?
We have, but it usually turns into another argument. It's like we're speaking different languages.
That's tough. Maybe instead of reacting in the moment, you could take a break and come back to the conversation when you're both calmer?
That's a good idea. I'll try that next time. But honestly, it's not just communication. Jealousy has also been an issue. He gets upset when I hang out with my guy friends, even though I've never given him a reason to doubt me.
That's tricky. Trust is so important in a relationship. Have you asked him why he feels that way?
Yeah, but he just says, I trust you. But I don't trust other guys. I don't think that's fair.
I get it. He might be feeling insecure, but you shouldn't have to prove your loyalty all the time. Maybe reassuring him while setting boundaries could help.
I'll try. And then there's another issue. Long-distance struggles. He recently got a job in another city, so we only see each other on weekends now. It's been hard to stay connected.
That must be really tough. Have you found ways to keep the connection strong?
We text a lot, but sometimes it feels like we're just going through the motions. We used to be so close, and now I feel like we're drifting apart.
Maybe planning virtual dates or setting a specific time to call each other every day could help.
That's a good idea. I guess I've been focusing so much on the problems that I haven't thought about solutions.
Relationships go through ups and downs, Lisa. The important thing is that you both still care and are willing to work on things.
You're right, but honestly, part of me wonders if this is really working. We've been trying so hard, but I don't know if we're truly happy anymore.
That's a big question to ask yourself. Do you feel like the relationship is bringing you more happiness or more stress?
Lately, it's been more stress. And I can't help but think about my sister. She just finalized her divorce last month. She told me she wished she had faced the truth sooner instead of forcing something that wasn't working.
Divorce is a huge decision, and I'm sure it wasn't easy for her. But every relationship is different. The key is to ask yourself if you still see a future with Tom or if you're staying out of habit or fear of change.
That's what I need to figure out. I don't want to rush into anything, but I also don't want to keep forcing something that might not be right.
Take your time. Talk to Tom openly about how you're feeling. Whether you work through it or decide to part ways, what matters is that you're honest with yourself.
You're right. I need to have that conversation with him.
And no matter what happens, you're not alone. I'm here for you.
That means a lot, Rachel. Thank you.
Anytime. And no matter what happens, you deserve to be happy.
I really hope I find clarity soon. But first, let's get some dessert. I think I need some chocolate for this conversation.
Absolutely. Chocolate makes everything better. Let's go.
Casey, you've been really quiet today. Is everything okay?
Honestly, I've been feeling stressed and exhausted lately. Work has been overwhelming, and I just feel like I can't keep up.
I get it. Work has been really demanding for me too. Do you think you're feeling burned out?
Maybe. I've been working late every night, and even when I have time to rest, my mind is still racing. It's like I can't switch off.
That sounds exhausting. You might need to take a step back and give yourself a break. Constant fatigue isn't something to ignore.
Yeah, but it's hard. I feel like if I slow down, I'll fall behind. And lately, I've been dealing with more than just work stress. I feel so lonely sometimes, even when I'm around people.
I completely understand. That feeling of loneliness can creep in even when you're not alone. Have you talked to anyone about it?
Not really. I don't want to bother anyone with my problems.
You're not bothering me. I'd rather you talk about it than keep everything bottled up. Suppressing emotions only makes things worse.
You're right. I guess I just feel like I'm not good enough sometimes. Like no matter what I do, it's never enough.
That sounds like low self-esteem talking. You're doing your best, and that's more than enough. Try to be kinder to yourself.
I try, but it's hard. Some days, I wake up feeling okay, but then something small happens, and I feel completely defeated again.
That sounds a lot like anxiety. It's normal to have ups and downs, but if it's affecting your daily life, maybe talking to someone, like a therapist, could help.
I've thought about it, but I keep putting it off. I guess I should take that step.
It's a good idea. Taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your body.
Thanks, Mark. Talking about this really helps.
Anytime. You're not alone, and I'm always here if you need to talk.
Hey Lisa, are you okay? You seem kind of down.
Ugh, I just saw a bunch of nasty comments about me online. I think someone from school started a rumor, and now people are spreading it everywhere.
That sounds awful. Is it on social media?
Yeah, it's all over. I don't even know how it started, but people keep tagging me and making jokes. It's like cyberbullying at this point.
I'm really sorry. No one deserves that. Have you reported it?
Not yet. I don't know if it'll help. What if reporting it just makes things worse?
I get that, but online harassment isn't okay. If you don't feel comfortable dealing with it alone, maybe talk to a teacher or someone you trust.
Yeah, I should probably do that. It just feels like high school is one big popularity contest, and if you don't fit in, people will find a way to make fun of you.
I know what you mean. There's so much peer pressure to be like everyone else. It's exhausting.
Exactly. And sometimes, people just take it too far. You remember how Jake always makes those jokes about me being too quiet? Today in class, he called me a ghost because I don't talk much, and everyone laughed. I was so embarrassed.
That's public embarrassment, and it's not funny if it makes you uncomfortable. Did you say anything?
No. I just froze. I never know what to say in the moment.
I get that. Some people think teasing is harmless, but when it happens over and over, it's just bullying.
Yeah, and it's not just Jake. Some of the girls act nice to my face, but then I hear them gossiping about me. Yesterday, I overheard them saying I'm weird because I don't go to parties.
Gossip is the worst. They don't even know you, but they're making judgments.
It's not just gossip. I feel like I don't belong. You know how some people at school look down on me because my family is from a different country?
That's discrimination, Lisa. It's not okay for anyone to treat you differently just because of where you're from.
I know, but it happens all the time. People assume I don't understand things or make jokes about my accent. It's exhausting.
That's also prejudice, judging someone before even knowing them. It's so unfair.
Yeah, sometimes I just feel like giving up on trying to fit in. Maybe I should just keep to myself.
I hear you, but don't let them make you feel like you don't belong. You're not alone. I mean, look at me. I've been through social isolation too. Remember last year when I transferred here? No one talked to me for weeks, and I felt invisible.
Yeah, I remember. I guess I didn't realize how hard that was for you.
It was really hard, but over time, I found real friends like you who actually care. You don't have to change who you are to make people like you.
Thanks, Maya. I really needed to hear that.
Anytime. And about the cyberbullying, let's take some screenshots and report it together. You don't have to deal with this alone.
That sounds like a good idea. I appreciate you, Maya.
Of course. Now let's get some ice cream. We deserve it.
Hey Jamie, you okay? You seem a little out of it today.
Yeah, just exhausted. I barely slept last night. Actually, I haven't been sleeping well for weeks.
That sounds rough. Have you been feeling stressed lately?
More than usual. Work's been crazy, and I've been dealing with this nagging back pain. I think it's from sitting at my desk all day.
That's no joke. Chronic back pain can mess with everything: sleep, mood, even focus. Have you seen a doctor about it?
Not yet. I keep telling myself it'll get better, but honestly, it's just getting worse. And now I'm running on fumes.
I get it. I had a bad injury last year, and I thought I could just push through the pain. Turns out ignoring it made it worse.
What happened?
I twisted my knee playing basketball, and instead of resting, I kept walking on it like nothing happened. A few months later, I needed physical therapy. I wish I'd taken it seriously earlier.
That sounds frustrating. I guess I should stop pretending my backache is just normal and actually do something about it.
Yeah, it might be something minor, but if it's getting in the way of your life, it's worth checking out.
You're right. And honestly, it's not just my back. Lately, I've been feeling sick a lot, like stomach issues, headaches, dizziness.
That sounds like your body is trying to tell you something. Have you noticed any patterns?
Kind of. I don't eat much during the day, and when I do, I feel guilty about it. I know it's not healthy, but I can't shake the feeling that I should eat less.
That sounds really tough, Jamie. Have you talked to anyone about it?
Not really. I don't want people to think I'm making a big deal out of nothing.
It's not nothing. Struggling with food isn't just about eating. It affects your energy, your mental health, even your immune system.
Yeah, I feel drained all the time. It's like my body is running on empty.
I'm really sorry you're going through this. There are people who can help: therapists, nutritionists. You don't have to figure it out alone.
I know, but it's hard to ask for help.
I get it. When I was dealing with my addiction, I kept it to myself for so long because I was ashamed.
Addiction? I didn't know.
Yeah, I had a bad relationship with painkillers after my injury. It started with just trying to manage the pain, but after a while, I relied on them just to get through the day.
That must have been tough. How did you get through it?
A friend helped me realize what was happening. I got support, talked to a doctor, and slowly worked my way out of it. It wasn't easy, but admitting I needed help was the first step.
That's brave. I don't know if I'm ready to talk to someone yet, but I think I need to.
You don't have to rush, but just knowing you don't have to do this alone is important. I'll be here whenever you need to talk.
Thanks, Chris. It actually helps just saying this out loud.
Anytime. And hey, let's start with something simple. How about a walk after we finish our drinks? Movement might help with that back pain.
That sounds good. I need a reset.
Tom, I feel like my apartment is falling apart. Everything seems to be going wrong at the same time.
Oh no! What happened?
First, my washing machine broke down right in the middle of a load. Now I have a tub full of wet clothes, and I have no idea what to do.
That's the worst. Have you called a technician?
Not yet. I'll have to do that today. But that's not even the biggest issue. Last night, I woke up because water was dripping from my ceiling. Turns out I have a roof leak.
That sounds serious. You should call your landlord or a roofing specialist before it gets worse.
I know, and to make matters worse, my internet keeps disconnecting randomly. I was in the middle of an online meeting yesterday, and it just cut out.
That's frustrating. Have you tried resetting the router? Sometimes unplugging it for a few minutes helps.
I did, but the connection still drops. I think I need to call my internet provider. And speaking of problems, my neighbors are ridiculously noisy. They were blasting music until 2 a.m. last night.
That's so inconsiderate. Have you talked to them about it?
Not yet, but I might have to. Oh, and the other day, I got locked out because I lost my keys. I had to wait an hour for my roommate to get home.
I've been there before. Now I always keep a spare key in my car. Maybe you should leave one with a friend or neighbor.
Good idea. And the list goes on. I noticed mold growing in my bathroom, probably because of the humidity.
That's not good. Mold can be bad for your health. Try using a dehumidifier and scrubbing it with vinegar or bleach.
I'll do that. But guess what happened this morning? The power went out right as I was making breakfast.
That's so unlucky. Was it just your apartment or the whole building?
It was the whole block. Thankfully, it came back on after an hour. But honestly, I just want a break from all these home issues.
I hear you. Home troubles can be so stressful. But at least you're handling them one by one.
That's true. Hopefully, things start getting better soon. Thanks for listening, Tom.
Anytime. And if you ever need help fixing something, just let me know.
Jake, you would not believe the kind of morning I had. Everything went wrong.
Oh no, what happened?
First, I completely overslept because I forgot to set my alarm. I had an early meeting, and I woke up 30 minutes before it started.
That's the worst. Did you make it on time?
Barely. I rushed out of the house, but then I hit the worst traffic jam ever. I ended up being late anyway.
Traffic can be so unpredictable. That's why I tried to take the train, but today it was so overcrowded I couldn't even get on the first one. I had to wait for the next train, and that made me late too.
Public transport can be a lifesaver or a nightmare. And to make things worse, when I finally got to work, I realized I forgot my wallet at home. I didn't even have money for coffee.
Oh no, that's the worst feeling. Did someone help you out?
Yeah, luckily my coworkers spotted me some cash, but I still felt so disorganized. And as if that wasn't enough, I totally forgot about my dentist appointment today. They called me, and I had to reschedule.
That reminds me, I completely misplaced my keys this morning. I was looking for them for 15 minutes, and it turned out they were in my jacket pocket the whole time.
Oh, I've done that before. The worst part is when you look everywhere, except the obvious places.
Exactly. And you know what? My bad luck didn't stop there. I was trying to be productive and made lunch, but I burned my toast while checking emails.
Oh no, a cooking disaster. I did the same thing last night. I was trying to make soup, but I totally misread the recipe and added way too much salt. It was completely inedible.
At least we're both having a rough time together. But you know what? Tomorrow's a new day. Hopefully we'll be a little more organized.
Agreed. Maybe I should start setting double alarms and keeping a checklist.
Good plan. And I'll stop multitasking while cooking. Let's hope tomorrow goes a little smoother.
Hey Mark, you look really tired. Everything okay?
Not really. Work has been really stressful lately. I feel completely burned out with all these tight deadlines.
I hear you. The pressure to meet deadlines has been intense. Have you talked to your manager about it?
I tried, but he's a micromanager. He keeps checking in on every little detail instead of letting me focus. It's frustrating.
That sounds exhausting. Feeling micromanaged can make it even harder to get things done.
Exactly. And on top of that, there are rumors of layoffs in the company. It's hard to concentrate when you don't even know if your job is safe.
Yeah, I've been hearing the same thing. A few people from my department are already worried about job security.
Honestly, the work environment has been feeling really toxic. Everyone is on edge, and communication from management is terrible.
Poor leadership makes everything worse. It's like they expect us to give 110% but don't support us in return.
Exactly. I don't mind working hard, but the stress is getting to me. I feel like I'm losing motivation.
Maybe it's time to start looking for other opportunities? You don't want to stay in a job that's making you miserable.
I've thought about it, but the idea of job hunting again feels overwhelming.
I get that. But remember, you have great experience and skills. If this company doesn't appreciate you, another one will.
Thanks, Rachel. I needed to hear that. Maybe I'll start updating my resume this weekend.
Good idea. And in the meantime, don't hesitate to take small breaks when you need them. Your well-being comes first.
You're right. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. We're in this together.
Hey Jake, you okay? You look like you're about to throw your laptop out the window.
Oh, I might just do that. My laptop has been acting up all day. First, it was running super slow, and now it just crashed while I was in the middle of an important report.
Yikes. Did you save your work?
I thought I did, but when I reopened the file, half of it was missing. I think I just had a data loss issue.
That's the worst. Have you checked if there's an autosave or backup version?
I tried, but no luck. And to make things worse, I was trying to sync my files to the cloud, but I think my internet is down.
Oh no, internet outage too? Sounds like you're having a rough day.
Yeah, and I still need to send this report by 5 p.m. Maybe I'll try using my phone's hotspot.
Good idea. If your laptop is still running slow, maybe you have too many background apps open. That can really slow down performance.
I didn't think about that. Let me check. Yep, I had like 10 programs running. No wonder it was struggling.
That should help a bit. But if your laptop keeps crashing, there might be a software bug causing the issue. Have you updated your system recently?
Not in a while. I keep postponing updates because they take forever.
That might be the problem. Sometimes, outdated software causes compatibility issues with new apps. Maybe run the update when you have some free time.
I guess I should, but right now, I just need my laptop to work.
Have you tried restarting it?
I mean, turning it off and on again feels too simple, but I guess it's worth a shot.
Trust me, it fixes more problems than you'd think.
Whoa, it actually worked. I can't believe that fixed it.
See? Sometimes, simple solutions are the best.
Thanks, Emily. Now, let's just hope my laptop doesn't decide to crash again before I finish this report.
Fingers crossed. Oh, by the way, have you been getting weird emails lately?
Yeah, a few days ago, I got an email saying my account had been compromised and that I needed to reset my password through some random link. It looked sketchy, so I ignored it.
That sounds like a phishing scam. Hackers send fake emails to trick people into giving away their passwords. You did the right thing by not clicking on it.
That's scary. I use the same password for everything. Maybe I should change it.
You definitely should. If someone hacks one account, they could access all of them. Use strong passwords and maybe enable two-factor authentication for extra security.
Good idea. The last thing I need is a cybersecurity breach on top of everything else today.
Exactly. Better to be safe than sorry.
All right, first I'll finish this report, then I'll update my passwords. Thanks, Emily.
Anytime. And if you need help setting up stronger security, let me know. Hey James, you seem a little off today. Everything okay?
Honestly, I've been really stressed about money lately. My expenses are piling up, and I'm struggling to keep up with bills and loan payments.
I get it. The cost of living keeps going up, and inflation isn't making things any easier. Have you tried making a budget?
I have, but even with a budget, I still feel like I'm barely getting by. My income isn't enough to cover everything, and I've had to use my credit card more than I should. Now my credit score is suffering because of late payments.
That's tough. High interest rates on credit cards make it really hard to catch up. Have you considered talking to a financial advisor?
I thought about it, but I don't even know where to start. And with this recession, I don't feel very secure in my job either. I'm worried about potential layoffs.
I understand. A lot of people are feeling uncertain about their jobs. Maybe you could look into side gigs or freelance work to earn extra income?
That's a good idea. I used to do some graphic design on the side, but I haven't had time for it. Maybe I should pick it up again.
That could definitely help. Also, if you have high interest debt, you might want to check if you can refinance or consolidate your loans.
I'll look into it. I just want to get out of this cycle of debt and financial stress. I'm even afraid I might have to file for bankruptcy if things don't improve soon.
Bankruptcy is a big step, but sometimes it's necessary for a fresh start. If it comes to that, make sure you understand all the consequences and explore other options first.
Yeah, I'd rather avoid it if I can, but it's been hard keeping up with everything.
You will figure it out. It takes time, but small steps make a big difference. If you ever need to talk or plan things out, I'm here.
Thanks, Lisa. That really means a lot. I'll start making some changes and see if I can turn things around.
That's the spirit. You've got this.
Oh, I can't believe our flight got canceled at the last minute. What are we supposed to do now?
I know it's frustrating. Let's check with the airline desk and see if they can put us on the next available flight.
Good idea. I really hope they don't say it's overbooked. That happened to me once, and I had to wait an entire day for another flight.
That would be a nightmare. Also, I'm worried about our luggage. What if it doesn't get transferred properly?
Speaking of luggage, did you see that guy at baggage claim earlier? He was really upset because his luggage was lost. I hope that doesn't happen to us.
I always pack essentials in my carry-on just in case. But let's stay positive and hope our bags arrive with us.
You're right. Oh, and did you see the weather forecast? It looks like there's going to be a storm at our destination.
Seriously, first a flight cancellation and now bad weather. This trip is off to a rough start.
Tell me about it. Also, I just realized something. We didn't check if we need a visa for this country.
Wait, you're joking, right? You checked before booking the tickets, didn't you?
Oh, not really. I assumed we didn't need one. Let me Google it real quick.
Oh no, please don't tell me we need a visa on arrival.
Oh no, it says we should have applied for a visa in advance. What are we going to do?
Okay, don't panic. Let's go to the immigration desk and ask if there's anything we can do. Sometimes they allow visa on arrival for emergencies.
I really hope so. Otherwise, this trip might be over before it even starts.
First things first, let's sort out our flight, and then we'll deal with the visa situation.
Yeah, one problem at a time. Traveling is fun, but sometimes it's full of surprises.
Mia, this trip has been amazing, but we've definitely had our fair share of travel troubles.
Tell me about it. First, our luggage was lost at the airport, and we had to wait 2 days for it to be delivered. I was so worried.
Yeah, that was stressful. I'm glad we packed a few essentials in our carry-ons. Next time, I think I'll put a tracking tag on my suitcase just in case.
That's a smart idea. And then, remember that guy who tried to scam us at the market? I can't believe he almost convinced us that the souvenir shop only accepted cash, and then he offered to exchange money for us. That was such an obvious scam.
Yeah, good thing we double-checked with the store. That's why I always say never exchange money with strangers on the street. Always use a bank or an official exchange office.
Lesson learned. Oh, and I think I ate something bad yesterday. My stomach was upset all night. I should have been more careful about where we ate.
Food safety is so important while traveling. Next time, we should stick to places with good reviews or check if the restaurant looks clean before eating there.
Agreed. But I think the worst part was when we got to our hotel, and they said they lost our reservation. I was so frustrated.
Yeah, that was a mess, but thankfully, we had the confirmation email, so they eventually sorted it out. From now on, I'm going to make sure we always double-check reservations before arriving.
And don't even get me started on our rental car issues. First, they tried to charge us extra for insurance we didn't need, and then the car they gave us had a weird engine problem.
That was frustrating. I'm glad we called customer service and got them to swap it out. Always read the rental agreement carefully before signing anything.
Absolutely. And between all of that, I think jet lag has been hitting me hard. I'm so exhausted even though it's only 3 p.m. here.
Yeah, adjusting to a different time zone is tough. Let's try to stay awake until the evening so we can get used to the local time.
Good idea. And one thing I didn't expect was how different the local customs are here. I accidentally gave someone a thumbs up, and later I found out that it's considered rude in this country.
Cultural differences can be surprising. That's why I always try to read up on local etiquette before traveling. It helps avoid misunderstandings.
That's a great habit. Well, despite all the issues, I think we've handled everything pretty well. Every trip has its challenges, but I guess that's part of the adventure.
Exactly. As long as we learn from these experiences, we'll be even better prepared for the next trip. Now, let's go explore the city. Hopefully, no more surprises today.
Fingers crossed. Let's go.
Hey Mark, you okay? You seem really stressed.
Yeah, I just got a letter about a tax problem. Apparently, there's some discrepancy in my filings, and now the tax office is saying I owe them money.
That sounds serious. Did they say how much?
Not exactly, but they mentioned possible fines and even legal action if I don't fix it soon.
Oof, that's rough. Have you talked to an accountant or a lawyer?
Not yet. I don't even know where to start.
I think you should get a professional to look at it. Tax laws are complicated, and mistakes happen all the time.
Yeah, I guess I should. But honestly, this is just one of my problems. My business partner and I are in a contract dispute, and it might turn into a lawsuit.
A lawsuit? Over what?
We had an agreement on profit sharing, but now he's claiming he should get a bigger cut. He's threatening to take me to court if I don't renegotiate.
That's a tough spot. Do you have everything in writing?
Yeah, but he says I broke part of the agreement. I didn't, but I don't know how to prove it.
If it's in writing, a lawyer should be able to help. Contracts are tricky, and you don't want this to get worse.
I know, and speaking of things getting worse, I just heard that a guy I used to work with got arrested for fraud.
Whoa, really? What happened?
He was running a shady investment scheme. The police charged him with fraud because he was promising huge returns and taking people's money without actually investing it.
Wow. I hope you weren't involved in any of that.
No way, but now I'm worried because I worked with him years ago, and I don't want my name connected to anything illegal.
If you had nothing to do with it, you're probably fine. But if you're really concerned, maybe get some legal advice just in case.
Yeah, I guess that's the smart thing to do. Between the tax issue, the contract dispute, and now this, I feel like I need a whole legal team.
One step at a time. First, get your taxes sorted. Then, deal with the contract issue. And if you really think you might be affected by that fraud case, talk to a lawyer.
You're right. I'll start with the tax issue tomorrow. Thanks, Jason. Talking about it makes it seem a little less overwhelming.
Anytime, man. Legal stuff is stressful, but you don't have to handle it alone. Let me know if you need help finding a good lawyer.
I appreciate it. Let's just hope I don't end up in court over all this.
It feels like the world is falling apart. Every time I turn on the news, there's another crisis.
I know what you mean. Lately, it's been nonstop: wars, protests, economic struggles, and political instability. It's overwhelming.
The economy is a mess. Inflation is through the roof, and so many people have lost their jobs. Unemployment is at an all-time high.
Yet, and with the economic crisis, businesses are shutting down, people can't afford basic necessities, and the government keeps making promises but doesn't deliver.
That's another thing, government failure. Instead of fixing problems, politicians are just arguing while nothing improves.
And let's not even start on corruption. So many leaders are more focused on their own wealth and power than actually helping people.
Exactly. And because of that, so many people are suffering. Just look at the refugee crisis. Thousands of families are fleeing their countries because of war or persecution, and they have nowhere to go.
And in some places, instead of welcoming them, governments are closing borders. It's heartbreaking. People just want a safe place to live.
Speaking of war, did you see what's happening overseas? Entire cities are being destroyed, and innocent people are caught in the middle.
Yeah, human rights violations are happening everywhere. Civilians are suffering, and international organizations are struggling to provide aid.
And what makes it worse is all the misinformation online. I don't even know what to believe anymore. There's fake news spreading so fast that it's hard to tell what's real.
That's a huge problem. Some people believe everything they see on social media without checking the facts. It just fuels division and makes it harder to fix real issues.
And that's why people are taking to the streets. Have you seen the protests happening lately? People are demanding change, but in some places, the government is cracking down hard.
Yet in some countries, protesting is dangerous. People are arrested just for speaking out. That's a serious violation of freedom of speech.
I wish there were easy solutions, but these issues are so complex. War, corruption, and economic struggles aren't things that can be fixed overnight.
True, but I still believe that people can make a difference. We have to stay informed, support organizations that help those in need, and vote for leaders who actually care about making change.
You're right. Even though things look bad, giving up isn't an option. We just have to keep pushing for a better future.
Exactly. Change takes time, but history has shown that when people come together, they can make a real impact.
James, did you see the report on climate change yesterday? It's so alarming how fast the planet is warming.
Yeah, I did. It's hard to ignore at this point. The extreme weather events lately are just one example of how serious it's getting.
Exactly. It makes me wonder if we're doing enough as individuals to help. Have you tried anything to reduce your carbon footprint?
I've started biking to work instead of driving, and I've cut down on single-use plastics. What about you?
That's great. I've been trying to recycle more and support local farmers to reduce food miles. Small changes, but I hope they make a difference.
Every little bit helps. But honestly, I feel like real change needs to come from governments and big corporations.
You're right. Policies and regulations have such a huge impact. Have you heard about the renewable energy initiatives some countries are adopting?
Yes, and they're really promising. Switching to solar and wind power could make a huge difference in reducing emissions.
I agree. But then there's also the issue of water scarcity. I read that millions of people still don't have access to clean drinking water.
That's heartbreaking. It's a reminder of how interconnected global issues are. Climate, resources, inequality, it's all linked.
Exactly. I think awareness is key. The more we talk about these issues, the more people will feel inspired to act.
Absolutely. It's up to us to stay informed and do what we can while also pushing for systemic change.
Agreed. Let's keep these conversations going. It's one small step toward making a difference.
Did you see the news about the rising sea levels?
Yeah, it's alarming. They said some coastal cities could be underwater in a few decades if things don't change.
It's hard to wrap your head around how quickly this is happening. Scientists have been warning us for years, but it feels like the changes are getting more intense.
Exactly. The heat waves, wildfires, and storms we've been experiencing seem worse every year. It's like climate change is no longer a distant problem, it's here.
I agree. It's frustrating that some people still don't take it seriously. The evidence is everywhere.
What do you think can be done to slow it down?
For starters, governments need to invest more in renewable energy, like wind and solar power. Reducing carbon emissions is key.
True. I've been trying to make small changes, like using public transport and cutting back on single-use plastics.
That's great. Every little bit helps. But we also need big policy changes to make a real difference.
I heard about some countries pledging to become carbon neutral by 2050. That's promising, but I wonder if it's enough.
I think it's a step in the right direction, but we need action sooner rather than later. Waiting decades might be too late for some regions.
It's such a big issue. Sometimes it feels overwhelming, but I try to stay hopeful.
Same here. I think if enough people get involved and push for change, we can make a difference.
Agreed. Education and awareness are so important. The more people understand the problem, the more likely they are to act.
Absolutely. Thanks for chatting about this, Taylor. It feels good to talk about it and share ideas.
Likewise, Jordan. Let's keep the conversation going and do what we can.
Have you been following the news about the recent disease outbreak?
Yes, I have. It's concerning how quickly it seems to be spreading.
It really is. They're saying it's a viral infection that spreads through close contact. Have you heard about the symptoms?
I read that it starts with a fever, fatigue, and a sore throat. Some people also experience coughing and difficulty breathing if it gets worse.
That sounds serious. Are there any guidelines on how to prevent it?
The usual precautions: washing hands frequently, avoiding close contact with sick people, and wearing masks in crowded places.
It's good advice. I've started carrying hand sanitizer with me everywhere I go. Better safe than sorry.
Same here. I've also been trying to boost my immune system by eating healthy and staying hydrated.
That's smart. I've heard they're working on a vaccine, but it could take some time before it's widely available.
It's good that they're working on it. In the meantime, we all need to do our part to stay safe and protect others.
Absolutely. I think raising awareness is also important. Not everyone takes it seriously until they see how it affects people.
True. I know a few people who didn't follow the guidelines at first, but they've changed their behavior after learning more about it.
Education makes a big difference. Hopefully, with enough precautions and efforts, the spread can be controlled.
Let's hope so. It's a tough situation, but we can get through it by working together and staying informed.
Agreed. Thanks for the chat, Dakota. It's nice to talk about these things and share ideas.
Anytime, Parker. Stay safe out there.
I still can't believe it's over. We were together for 3 years and now it's just done.
I know, Emily. Breakups are really tough, especially when you've been with someone for so long. How are you feeling?
Honestly, confused, hurt, and a little lost. 1 minute, I feel like I'm fine, and the next, I just want to call him and talk.
That's totally normal. It takes time to process everything. You were so used to having him in your life. It's a big adjustment.
Yeah, it's like I suddenly have all this free time, but I don't know what to do with myself.
That makes sense. It's a big change. But maybe this is a chance to focus on yourself. Do things you enjoy, pick up a new hobby, or reconnect with friends.
I guess so. I just keep thinking about what went wrong. Was it something I did?
Emily, don't blame yourself. Relationships end for many reasons, and it's rarely just one person's fault. Sometimes people just grow apart.
I know, but it still hurts. I miss the good times, even though I know we weren't happy in the end.
That's completely understandable. Just because something ends doesn't mean it was all bad. You had great moments together, and those memories will always be a part of your life.
That's true. I just don't know how to move on.
One step at a time. Focus on healing, give yourself space to feel your emotions, and don't rush the process. And remember, you're not alone. I'm always here if you need to talk.
Thanks, Jake. That really means a lot. I know I'll be okay eventually. It's just hard right now.
Of course, healing takes time, but you'll come out stronger in the end. And who knows? This might be the start of something even better for you.
I hope so. For now, I'll just take it one day at a time.
That's the best way to do it. And in the meantime, let's grab some ice cream. It won't fix everything, but it's a good start.
You know what? That actually sounds perfect. Let's go.
Hey Kirby, how was your commute this morning?
It was not too bad today. The train was on time and I even got a seat. What about you?
I drove today, but traffic was worse than usual. It took me almost an hour to get here.
That sounds frustrating. Do you usually drive, or do you take public transportation?
I usually drive because it is more convenient, but when traffic is bad, I wish I took the train. How about you?
I take the train most days. It is reliable, and I can read or listen to a podcast while commuting.
That sounds like a good way to make use of the time. Do you ever take the bus?
Not really. The bus takes longer because of all the stops. I prefer the train since it is faster.
Yeah, that makes sense. I have thought about cycling to work, but I am not sure about the weather.
That is a great idea. Some of our colleagues cycle to work, and they say it is a good way to stay active.
Maybe I will give it a try. It might even save me some money on gas.
That is true. Plus, no traffic jams. Let me know if you decide to try it.
Will do. Thanks for the suggestion.
River, what happened to your arm? Are you okay?
Oh, this? Yeah, I'm okay now. I had a little accident a few days ago.
What kind of accident?
I was riding my bike, and someone opened a car door without looking. I couldn't stop in time and crashed into it.
That sounds scary. Were you hurt badly?
Thankfully, it wasn't too bad. Just a few scrapes and bruises, and this cut on my arm that needed a few stitches.
I'm glad it wasn't worse. Did you have to go to the hospital?
Yeah, I went to the emergency room to get checked out. They cleaned the wound, stitched it up, and made sure nothing was broken.
That's good. How's the pain now?
It's manageable. They gave me some painkillers, but I've only needed them a couple of times.
Was the driver helpful after the accident?
They were actually really apologetic. They stayed with me until the ambulance arrived and even offered to pay for the medical bills.
That's the least they could do. It's good that they took responsibility.
Yeah, it could have been worse if they hadn't stayed. I'll be more careful around parked cars from now on.
That's a smart idea. Take it easy for a while and let yourself heal.
Thanks, Ellis. I appreciate that.
Anytime. If you need help with anything, let me know.
Will do. Thanks for checking in.
I just got my food, but it's not what I ordered. How should I complain politely?
The best way is to stay calm and polite. Start by getting the server's attention and explaining the issue.
So, I could say, "Excuse me, I think there has been a mistake with my order."
Yes, that's a good way to start. After that, clearly explain what you ordered and what you received.
For example, I ordered a grilled chicken sandwich, but this is a beef burger.
Exactly. Then you can ask for a solution. You could say, "Could you please check my order?" Or would it be possible to get the correct dish?
That makes sense. What if they do not respond well?
If they don't take it seriously, you can politely insist. You could say, "I understand mistakes happen, but I would really appreciate it if my order could be corrected."
Got it. What if I need to complain about something else, like bad service?
You should still stay polite. You could say, I noticed that my order has been delayed for a long time. Could you check on it for me? Instead of blaming, try to express your concern.
That's helpful. I will remember to stay calm and use polite language when making a complaint.
Yes, that way, you are more likely to get a positive response.
Thanks for the advice. I feel more confident about handling complaints now.
That's it for today's lesson. We covered key phrases and practical tips to help you talk about common challenges, from relationship issues and workplace conflicts to travel troubles and global problems. Knowing how to express your concerns, ask for help, and make polite complaints in English will make a big difference in your communication skills. The best way to improve is by practicing. Try using these phrases when discussing daily life challenges, workplace issues, or even global topics like climate change and health crises. The more you practice, the more natural your English will become. And don't forget, we've uploaded more videos on related topics, so be sure to check them out on our channel and website. Okay, thanks for watching today's lesson on English Fab. I hope you found these English tips useful and feel more confident. Remember, practice makes perfect, so try using these phrases in your daily conversations. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more Fab English lessons. Until next time, keep practicing and stay fab.